Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about why most people quit right before it actually works. What works? What am I talking about? Social media, maybe a marketing scheme, maybe social posting of some sort with a new program that you're getting ready to release. What am I talking about? Pay attention. I'm going to tell you guys all by the end what most people do right before they quit and how come it's right before it works. They quit because they stand up or they can't stand the silence because nothing is happening. Is anybody even listening to me? Is this knock, knock, knock? Is this thing on? Because no one is responding because effort isn't being rewarded. Hey, Tim, you know what? Good job. That episode hit me right there. That was a good one. How'd you know what I was thinking? I was so stressed about that today. Thank you so much. I listened to the episode and just answered all my questions. Nope, that doesn't happen. The moment they walk away is usually the moment they were the closest to winning. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been to the casino and you guys putting these quarters in, all of a sudden you get up and here comes this little old lady, puts her coffee down, quarter, 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 boom, bingo, she won. You're like, oh, yeah. How did that happen? Because you got up and left before it actually was going to kick in. If you haven't watched this before, welcome back. This is Elevate With Enbody. And what I've done over the last 25 years is try to bring as much value as I can to you in these last 90 days. This is my 90th or 100th day of doing this. And what I'm trying to accomplish is simple. I'm trying to tell you what a lot of people are going to charge you for. What? There's so many amazing coaches out there. Yeah. For $19.95, you can learn this tactic. And for $109.95, you can learn this tactic. I'm not talking bad about coaching. I love it. I get it. But for the basics, come on, guys, let's dig in together. So today, I promise you, I'm not selling you anything. And this could be for a beginner stage to a 10-year vet. I'm talking to the people who are still here. The ones that show up and show out. The ones that show up and show off, go to the next podcast. I'm not for you. I promise you. Momentum, none. Applause, zero. The ones that quietly are wondering, am I wasting my time? We've talked about this over the last couple of episodes, so I'm going to hit hard with it this one. Have you heard the phrase that breaks most people? No one warns you about this phrase either. The beginning is exiting. The win is visible, but the middle is lonely. You're doing the work. You're improving every day. I said 1% better, right? 20 episodes ago, 1% better, but nothing around you seems to be changing. You're not closing more business. You're not getting more accolades. You're not getting any pats on the back or any claps on the side when you're doing something that you think is outside your norm. Like, I'm trying to accomplish something right now and I'm working my ass off, but I just don't feel like anybody's even acknowledging me. I know I get like that sometimes. I'm like, we've worked really hard. Chaz and I, behind the scenes, Chaz is right over here. We're mics and learning this and cameras and backdrops and matching colors. I'm a very simple guy, guys. So matching my colors and then not to have anybody say anything. What? It doesn't make any sense, right? Should I quit? Don't quit. That doesn't mean that you should quit. It's not that it's not working. It means you've entered the separation phase where most people that are successful, that's where they play. So we talked about a few episodes ago being rock bottom. Sometimes it's easier than the middle. And sometimes when you're rock bottom, it's like, I got no place to go but up or death. That's what it feels like. But sometimes you're right here in this middle stage, right? And you're like, my bills are paid. And yeah, I'd like to go on a dream vacation, but maybe if I save for a couple of years, or my car is driving, it's decent. Maybe I'd like a nicer one. I got a 401k, but I don't really have much of a portfolio beyond that. You are the most amazing group of people in this group where the actual excuses are amazing and plentiful. It's where the separation truly happens. We talked about being uncomfortable. So this episode, we're going to get uncomfortable together, okay? So come on in, sit down, put your cell phone, get rid of it. I don't care. This episode, we're going to talk about what actually starts to happen, even though it feels like nothing's happening. If you're doing the things that we've talked about before. Now, granted, here's my small print, right? Read it. If you're being consistent, if you're being authentic, if you're posting with intention, if you're living your life outside your camera, your social focus, the same way you are on, if you're being that person, this is for you. If those things don't apply, then you're going to throw off the reality of that middle twilight zone area. Because what's going to really happen is when it feels like you're dead quiet, your standards need to rise. Your reps are stacking, guys. Your confidence is shifting internally before it even shows up. So I came in today and I talked to Chaz. First thing I hit him with, I'm all excited. He's like, dude, how much caffeine have you had? I'm like, none yet. I'm just excited. The last 4 or 5 days, I've been going to hot yoga with my wife. Reverse warrior pose, guys. I can do it. I've been stretching and putting myself in all kinds of shapes, and I'm sweating my ass off. Oh my God, my sweat is sweating. Because I'm also doing it in a sauna, by the way. It's 128 degrees, something like that. But I'm doing it. I'm working out with my son. I'm pushing my body. I want to lose. I lost 105 pounds over this last year. I gave up drinking. I didn't think I drank that much, usually 7 to 10 days a week, but I gave up drinking. I stopped eating such bad food. I started, working on my diet. I started working on my routines, right? And as I'm doing this stuff, I'm starting to feel myself come out of this bottom. And now what happens when I get in that middle is I start to slow down. I start to think, well, maybe this weekend I'll let myself have a little cheat day, which I have not done. I have not done it since November of last year. I'm coming up on, or 2 years ago. It's been 15, 16 months now. I've not cheated on my diet, but I still might conceive too many and take on too many calories. Consume, that's the word I was searching for. Sorry. Consume too many calories. But I'm like, but it's the food that's in my diet. I'm sitting right here. So what did I have to do? In order to come up here, I had to go into the most uncomfortable space I could. I had to take a step away from excuses. I had to separate myself from the pact of other people that make those excuses. I had to take my jolly white fat ass into Hot Works and get into that hot box and start doing things that were completely uncomfortable to me. I had to go downstairs with my son and say, don't kill me, but push me. And I felt like somebody gave me a shot of vitamin B12 right in my ass. Because it's not because I went right to the top. I set a new goal for myself. I got a 100-mile walk coming up. I'm hoping to kick that off when my wife and I go on our vacation because I'll have a lot of beautiful weather, lots of reasons to walk and move. I'm trying to go, okay, instead of watching TV 7 days a week, how about work out 5 days a week? How about this? How about this? I started making these things that I would consider outside my norm to start to do this. Because I don't care if you're talking about business or not. One of the biggest truths I ever had, I went to a seminar 5-6 years ago. I talked to Chaz right before we started about this a few minutes ago on how on stage this guy, and I know he was looking right at me. There's like 2,000 people in this room, but I felt like he was looking right at me. It was like a Sunday sermon. And basically he's saying, if you're overweight, he said it nicer than this, but essentially, if you're overweight, if you're doing these things in life, how do you plan on being successful? I'm not saying you can't be fat and successful, guys, but I'm telling you what, my energy at a 36 waist versus a 46 waist is way different. My energy wearing an XL shirt and being loose versus a 3X and it looks like my buttons are going to pop out and kill somebody is a big difference, right? Sleeping without snoring so much my wife wants to punch me in my sleep is a big difference. The confidence you build when you start to shift, that internal movement, guys, is huge. And that all comes back to business. All of it. Every ounce of what I just said has everything to do with what you do every day. Because the results, they don't appear gradually. They reveal themselves. So to me, it's sudden. It's like night and day, like switch was turned on. And nobody was home before, but I feel like somebody's home right now. This happens in business. This happens all the time. There's a point where the podcast for me went from work to expectation to kind of pleasure. Chaz, you're a personal trainer for years. I'm sure you had people that would come up and you're like, okay, all right, Tim, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, diet, nutrition. And then all of a sudden you went from sitting there going, all right, where is he? To you pull in and he's in there working out. He's in there warming up. He's like, let's go. And I'm sure it was a small list of people that did that. And it was a much bigger list that were on the verge of canceling or getting out. The middle is weary. It's scary. It's so treacherous, people. The line that separates us in that middle stage makes the rooms go quiet, but you don't have to go quiet. Let me say this carefully. If you need validation to continue, you were never committed to the result. You were never committed to the result if you needed the validation to continue. That's in life. That's in business. That's with everything. You were never committed to the feeling of being seen. And when the feeling disappears, so do most people. Why smart, capable people still quit. Now, does that sound like an oxymoron? If they're smart and capable, why would they quit, Tim? Well, because they're still human, right? This is the part that actually hurts a lot of people. The people who quit here aren't weak. They're intelligent, actually. They're very self-aware. They have high standards for themselves and the people that they surround themselves with. And that's exactly why they talk themselves out of staying. They overanalyze the silence. I know I do. They interpret patience as failure. They assume something must be wrong, even when nothing is wrong. They're just early. They're early. They're jumping too soon. The truth about sudden success. What? How many people have had that? Sure. Success never shows up suddenly, people. If you believe that, you're crazy. It looks like sudden to you or to me. We just didn't see the reps. We didn't see the 5 days a week of someone going to the gym and cutting back their calories and choosing water or tea or coffee over beer and wine, pushing back that loaf of bread and maybe just having an extra serving of vegetables. You didn't see those reps. So when you walk in, go, whew, have you lost weight? Yeah. Oh, what are you taking? And I'm not against anybody that's taking shots or pills to lose weight, because I agree that being thin and healthier is still better than being overweight, because you're going to have issues either way, right? But I looked at it this way. I made myself fat. And as long as God allows me to walk around, I can make myself not fat. And if I don't put in the reps, then I'm not going to change my habits. Does that make sense? If I don't put these reps in now, how am I supposed to push through the next middle? Because guys, for me, bottom, middle, top, and then you start to do it again, because as you want to be successful and you want to grow, like right now we're doing a lot of goal setting for 2026, and we're working through these goals that people were setting over the last 30 to 60 days. And when I look at some of these goals that are essentially the same as last year, I'm still grateful for the volume. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sitting there going, they're stuck in the middle. Their expectation of themselves and their business is stuck in the middle. And then you see other people that are putting goals out there. They're like, holy crap, this guy or this gal, they're trying to punch through, because even if they put that goal up there and it's maybe bigger than I'm like, oh, okay, don't set yourself up for failure. I'm sitting there going, what can I do to help you? Because once you start to break through these things often enough, you understand it's just part of a cycle. Breakthrough is sometimes delayed visibility for others, because it's not for you. It's not sudden for you, because you put in the sweat and the tears. You ate dinner by yourself sometimes at the kitchen table. You were the ones, instead of on a Saturday, maybe going and playing one more round of golf, you were making 10 more phone calls. You were following up with a couple more clients. Now, I'm not telling you to burn the wick at both ends. And I'm not telling you to isolate from your family and friends. This is not what that's about. So you can keep your hate. It's simply, if you want to push through the middle, you have to do other stuff that people are doing to get through. And a lot of it is they're delaying the visibility in what to you and I might seem as sudden. We're simply not seeing the reps. That's it. Their work was already done long before the result ever appeared for you and I. This is not just about content. But aren't we talking about social media? That's all you talk about. No, this is business, sales, leadership. This is about your career, your relationships. The middle feels the same everywhere else you go. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels like it's unrewarding. Where's your that boys? The pat on your back. I walked in on a Monday morning. I had a podcast with a whole bunch of likes and comments. Why isn't my boss meeting me at the door? Well, what the heck? Okay, do you actually expect that? It's going to be very awkward for you to achieve these goals if you expect a that boy every time you do something that you should be doing to be successful. And it's where I think a lot of the identity is decided between people like you and me. Drop the mic. What? Drop the mic. Most people don't fail. They leave one season too early and spend the rest of their life wondering what would have, could have, should have happened if they just would have stayed a little bit longer. Well, what's the difference between me and Joe? What's the difference between me and Josh? What's the difference between me and Chaz? Was he willing to do something? Was he willing to work harder than me? Was it because I chose this middle ground? While he was like, you know what? Let's get uncomfortable. People that are successful in business and in life, in relationships, right? It's not always comfortable. Sometimes you have to have the uncomfortable conversations. And when you do and you push through those guys, what happens? I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to slap you guys in the face. I am trying to kick you guys in the ass, though. If this episode hit you hard, good. Because the people who make it aren't always going to be the loudest. They're the ones who stayed when nothing was happening. Until next time, keep elevating your business and your brand.